All right, well, welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lane. This is Garrett Cotton. Got a special guest with us today, somebody that I've never even met personally, so really excited for this. Going to be a little bit different. But let's welcome Josh Mascaro, bro. Glad to have you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude.
You've
Cotton, I
never,
know that
you've never
y'all.
met Josh before?
Uh.
I thought y'all have met before.
No,
Dang.
sir.
Well, this would be interesting. Okay.
Yeah, not in person, so it's the first time, so I'm really excited about it.
Good.
Yeah, Josh, if you want to kind of just introduce yourself, kind of let the audience know a little bit about your background, maybe where you're from, realistically, what got you to being in Denver office?
Yeah. Well, a lot like most of us here, I'm from Louisiana. I think all of us are from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to, I actually grew up on 20 acres with Lizzie, who's the market owner here. Man, we were working early on in life since we were kids, like, outside. So that's where I think where our work ethic came from, just that hard work early on. Went to LSU, Baton Rouge, got into sales pretty early on, around 18 years old. Started selling Cutco knives, and through
Okay.
that, one of my managers was really into personal growth, like Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. So started showing me YouTube videos, books, like, hey, you should actually start diving into this and not just work, but work on yourself. And I got hyper focused really early on the idea that like my current reality is only um, created
Temporary.
by it's temporary, but it's like I can literally change it in a day. I can
Hmm.
change it. I can change a limiting belief. I can change my habits, my perspectives, and my overall energy to what I put into things. And that got me into meditation. That got me closer to my faith with God. My life as a Christian. And dude, it just like that. I think the personal growth um, culture that I got to experience in that company got me like hyper obsessed with just like, man, I love this. Like, so I wasn't partying in college. Wasn't like going out to clubs and all that. I was getting up early on a Saturday to go do appointments. I was getting up
Right.
early on a Sunday to read some books, go to church, spend my day working on myself, working out. Fitness. I haven't taken a week off in 10 years of just fitness. So that's like just hyper obsessed on like habits and goals. I got that. I have to attribute that to like the people that I met at Cutco. And then I got into real estate. That was interesting during college. COVID rolled around right as I was graduating, and I was trying to do real estate in Southern California, and that didn't work out, obviously. So I went into solar. I had some friends of mine that were in California, just like absolutely doing crazy with solar. So I got into that. San Diego, moved up to Sacramento, worked in the Bay Area for a number of years, and it was more of like we had a call center, and they would put appointments on my board, and I would just be running appointments, closing deals all day. Did that for a few years. Um, so kind of always found myself like networking with people, so I had opportunities to always be inside of a home closing a deal. And then got into insurance about a year ago. Was doing pretty good with that until I got messages every single day from my sister, who was just over here in Denver, making 50, $60,000 months, like it would just clockwork. And she hadn't even been in sales for a full year, and I'm looking like, well, what's going on here? I've been doing this 8 years, and my little sister comes and just like wipes the floor with it, and I'm like, what is going on here? And she's like, no, you got to actually start knocking doors. You can't just come in and be a closer. And I'm like, well, I'm a closer, so I'm not gonna knock doors.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
we had that little rip for a little bit, and then she's like, Josh, I got my own market, I got my own office, and like basically selling me the vision. I'm like, all right, well, you made 65 grand last month. I'm gonna come out, this summer, check it out, at least help you build the office and kind of see what this whole thing's about, and make some money in the process, and just kind of see where it goes. So that's what I did. I put everything in storage in my place in Texas, and I literally burned the boats. Like Tony Robbins says, you want to take the island, you burn the boats. So I left myself no option. I left Texas, I packed everything, my dog, in my car. Did that 16-hour drive. Learned the script, y'all script in 2 days. Got up here, and apparently there was a bunch of expectations for me when I showed up. They're like, "Oh, Josh is going to do this and this and this." So I didn't have an option to just show up and have the "I'm new" excuse, because Lizzie spent the whole time, like, you know telling us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Talking you up a little bit.
oh yeah, so I got there, and man, my first week I popped off with five deals, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. 7,700 bucks my
Mm-hmm.
first week. Yeah. Fast forward, I think it's been like 40 something days. I've I think I'm 27-ish thousand, something like that.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Not.
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
Yep. So you haven't even been with the company a full 2 months yet.
No.
Yep. So, yeah, when you came in, Lizzie had just gotten over to our office, and then also just for viewer information, it's kind of ironic because originally, Caitlin had messaged Lizzie about the job,
Mhm.
and Lizzie had sent over your phone number. So
Wow.
it started way back. When was it when you first heard about Performance Windows? How long ago was that?
Right around when Lizzie started working. And then I remember I visited her in Austin before she came up to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
She was working at the Austin office,
Yep.
and she got me on the phone with you. And then I started pitching you
Yep.
on working the solar deal with the windows. I'm like, dude, we got to do
It was.
this.
I mean, it was a good idea. I thought about it. I'm like, if somebody brings up
Yeah.
solar while I'm selling windows, I'll be like, hey, I know a guy,
Exactly.
and that kind of thing.
No,
So.
but then the tables turned, and now I'm in your office. So
Yep,
great.
it's crazy, but hey, it all happens for a reason. So we're glad to have you. Glad we've definitely got to see some growth.
Yeah.
But tell us about some of the roller coasters that you've experienced that
Yeah.
been with our company.
Hold on one sec. I wanna bring up so Cutco, bro. I think that's
Oh yeah.
crazy. Yeah, go back to Cutco. In college. So I actually went to a Cutco interview.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was like a 2 day like interview training thing,
oh yeah.
and it was right in Baton Rouge, but it looked like an old abandoned apartment complex, right?
Wait, who was your manager, or who was the?
I don't.
Was it?
I,
Um,
I don't remember who it was. That was so
okay.
long ago. But it was like it was. I remember you get off the interstate and it was like on the left hand side, like right by a gas
Off
station.
Acadian.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
think
CJ, man.
CJ. That
Yeah,
sounds
that's
familiar.
my boy,
Yep.
man. He's amazing. Yeah, he's still in
Yeah.
it, man.
Really?
Okay.
I think he runs the division there. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I went over there and it was like an interview process or whatever, and I was just like, I don't know, something just didn't feel right.
yeah.
And obviously, I was way younger then, but kind of talk about, even though going into that sales job at such a young age. How old are you now?
26,
26. So how old how old were you
18,
whenever you did the Cutco? Were you
18.
18?
Yeah.
18? So kind of talk about like your transition to that. What did y'all do at Cutco? Was it like a door-to-door style thing? Or was it like the solar where you were
Well,
getting hot leads where you just ran the appointments?
so actually, it was all referral based. And what's interesting, this job gives me a lot of deja vu about Cutco, and I think that's why this company is growing so quickly. Because you guys have, like, Cutco's been around for since I think the 80s, the 70s or 80s. And so, well, I mean, since the 40s, but the marketing part of it, they've been running the script this whole basically since the 80s. And man, like, I came in at 18 years old. I'd been waiting tables, basically jobs where, you do this job, you're worth X amount an hour. And my first 1099 job basically taught me, like, hey, you don't get paid for anything except for the results that you produce. So you can work 5 hours and get the same $1,000, or you can work 50 hours and make the same $1,000. So
Right.
it's about, and that's what got me in the mindset of working on my skill level. And that's what they preached. We had a meeting every single day. We had role plays. We had a manual, just like the manual that you guys have. And it would be, everything about personal development, everything about objections. We had an hour-long script that we'd have to go through word for word and sit in front of the customer for literally an hour and say, hey, is it okay if I read my manual? And then just, boom, here's the knife, and cut food. And it was, it was geared towards, kids that are in their high school, college age. So it's less of like what is it, professional I don't want to say like less professional, but more of like, hey, I'm going to give this kid a chance to sit with me for an hour, cut the food. But the product was so amazing, it sold itself. So I didn't necessarily need to be the best salesperson. But at the end, it's like they taught us how to get referrals. We'd get 10, 15 referrals at the end of the appointment. And then we'd just make phone calls. We'd have these things called phone jams. We'd come in the morning, in the afternoon, at nighttime. We'd have all-day call days on Sundays. So we were working 7 days a week. I was going to go into a frat, but this was a frat. There was dudes in an office just like this. They were drinking beer. They were doing whatever, but they were making phone calls. They were working. Like the whole motto was like, hey, like get better every single day. Like we're making money. We're not here to F around.
And with your time at LSU, did you graduate? And what was your degree for?
Marketing.
Oh, for marketing. So still kind of like along sales and whatnot.
Exactly. Yep. And I really got into entrepreneurship, like the idea of it through Cutco, because they were always trying to promote you to the next level. So I got to go on their fair and show team. So I would actually physically look up all of the fairs, shows, basically places where you could set up a booth and then just have a display and actually talk to people, book appointments there. I went to realtor offices and, did like presentations in front of 30, 40 realtors about engraving knives. I ran an office for like 2 months. They gave me like my own little branch.
What are the people making it? Did y'all freeze? Oh, there you go. What were the guys making over there?
I mean, it just depends how much you're selling. Like the newer guys, maybe like 4,000 a month, not even that much.
4,000 a month.
4 to 6,000. But I mean, dude, there are guys making multiple six figures there. Because after you're there for a few years, you build a book of business, you build client bases, and there are definitely guys making multiple six figures. But that's where you turn it into a career. You implement marketing. You're doing like high ticket shows. You're turning it more into a business. But plenty of guys doing that. So it's just like
I heard somebody told me, I can't remember. I was talking somehow. Cutco got brought up in conversation, and somebody told me that their scissors cut a penny, and that was one of your demonstrations.
Oh,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
My scissors can't cut it like a piece of yarn. You know what I mean? They Dollar General scissors.
That's because you're cheap. That's why Dollar General.
I ain't got Cotton's money yet, but we gotta get there.
One day you'll grow up.
No, but I think the whole premise of the job put me in the mindset of hey, I'm not working hourly, I'm working on myself. And every minute that I put into it counts. And I'm not clock watching of how many hours to how many dollars. It's how many hours to how much knowledge and how much I'm getting better.
Right.
And
personal development.
Yeah. How many more phone calls can I make? How many more people can I get on the phone and close deals?
And that probably helped you so much, especially when you transitioned into like the solar world and even into industry. I mean, the insurance industry,
Yeah.
Kind of tell us a little bit about your experiences in those two industries as well, like some of the highs and lows and best months.
Yeah. I mean, I've had like 30K months in solar, so it was pretty good. But the idea is that it's such a rocky industry, and it really just depends with the team you're on, the people that you're with, especially the installer, and how the fulfillment works.
Yeah.
Because these installers, especially during COVID, the last few years, there's a lot of, I guess, shady stuff that they're fulfilling all of their front end, but not their back end. And so making a promise in front of a customer of, hey, we're going to get this project done in the next 4 weeks or 8 weeks, and then it ends up turning to 4 months or 8 months.
Yeah.
And then you get paid, but then you have a customer calling you every day, or worse, you don't get paid. You're still working on the project.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the times it was dehumanizing, because you're just doing your job and you're having to defend a company that isn't even, their operations are out of whack.
That gets hard.
And they're focused on their bottom line instead of, basically every part of the supply chain, like front end to back end. And that really frustrated me because, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. So I got passed around a lot of different installers, a lot of different states. And I was lucky to be with a lot of teams and people that really, we all vibed with. We were all friends. And so I still call a lot of them my best friends. So I did get the opportunity to work with people that would put appointments on my board. I would close them, and a lot of times I get paid pretty quick. Sometimes, not so much. But
Yeah.
it was definitely rocky because some months I had 20, 30 projects in my pipeline, and I was like, all right, let's go. But all these projects had issues or, utility permit issues. Anyway, aside from getting in the depths of it,
It's a lot of headache involved.
it is. Yeah, and it's just to get a check.
Yep.
And also it's like I just want to make sure that whatever I'm selling is going to produce a result in someone's life that's going to impact them for the better for long term.
Mm-hmm.
And solar is great for that. In
The grand scheme of things.
exactly. And I think during the project though, I think it just got spoiled for a lot of projects. For insurance, it was like it was pretty cool too because I got to come in and instead of knocking doors or whatever, it's all on the phone. That's a different industry too because you buy your income. So you basically buy leads, you call them, you close deals, and so there's some headaches with that, but there's also a lot of reward with that too.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of success with that too. I think
Is insurance, is it more paid up front, or is it I thought it was like a residual income with insurance as long as they're paying into it?
there are so many ways to make money with insurance.
Really?
It's all of it. So there's residuals, there's upfront, there's back end, there's overrides on a team. You could build your agency, you could sell it for millions of dollars. So it's definitely more of a long-term play. And yeah, I love it.
It's kind of like real estate as
yeah.
well. I mean, real estate with
Yep.
Dakota, when he was in real estate, he got into it and he was working hard. He was a top producer in Louisiana at the time, but his biggest month or biggest year was like around 60K, right?
Well, I was only in it for 1 year, but yeah, it was like 70K, 75K.
Yeah, 60, 70K.
Nice.
But I'll never forget it because he came up and he was on that phone talking to like 40 different people a day,
Oh, yeah.
trying to problem solve to get this one homeowner happy for a homeowner to possibly just fall out. Be like, oh, we're going to hold off, whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. So that kind of stuff is where I really opened my eyes of like how easy our industry is because it's just, here's the product. It's exactly what we say it's going to be. Well, for windows, it's kind of like a loophole because it's not like a big general contractor where you need like tons of licenses to do the projects.
Or permits.
Permits. It's
Yeah.
just like for like replacements.
Yep.
So we're just simply upgrading the home. So it's just a whole lot more stress, a whole lot more obstacles to overcome in the processes. And then
Yep.
along with that, it changes people's lives. So
What impressed
And one other thing about it with like real estate insurance, kind of like Josh was saying, is that that's such a long term play,
yeah,
right? You could go into real estate and you could be a top 1% in the country and get up to where you're making $500,000 in a year. But with the opportunity that we have right here, you could do that next year.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that. This year. I'm gonna do that this year.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that how fast the growth is within the product that we're doing with this company, rather than like an insurance sales or a real estate. That's really what opened my eyes whenever I came down here. How quick it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's just back to back to back.
man, what impressed me too, especially being in construction, I think I had a bad taste in my mouth about the construction industry being in solar, that every time I'd sell a product, I'd go back and do my own research on the company, and they've got 1-star reviews, they've got lawsuits, they've got like a whole slew of just cringy stuff online that, you kind of have to erase from your mind when you go to your next presentation. Like, hey, I hope this works out for you, crossing my fingers. But
Right.
with this company, man, like you can literally look them up, and there's hundreds of 5-star reviews, and I can actually come in front of a customer and say like, no, you don't understand. This is the best company, and you're going to be so happy with what we have. Instead of me saying in the back of my mind, this is BS.
Yeah,
Right.
I could
Yeah.
feel that because even when I became market owner, I experienced that struggle because as the closer, it's my job to sell. I mean, it's my job to sell the product, but it would be hard because if I've ever heard somebody talk about like, oh, even Kaleo when he was the market owner, he would say, oh, the installers, they didn't do this, and that one little negative comment about it made me feel like, oh, dang, are the installers not doing their job? Like, are we good? Like, is everything okay? And then that little bit of me that felt doubt in my installers, it would almost create a sales slump because it's hard to go sell something that you don't believe in. But now, as being a market owner, I see the installs, I see the crews, I've met the guys. I know that they have the best interest of this company at heart, so that's why they're going out there and they're doing a great job. So it's a whole lot easier to sell that. I always used to even say, it's my job to oversell with the hopes that my install team's going to over-deliver. But it's not my job to deliver, so I just had to trust in that. But it's easier to trust in a company that has the reviews.
Yeah, and to that too, like if you know your company's badass and you know the fulfillment end of it is just like second to none, then you can erase that from your mind and you can put all of your focus into just overselling because you know they're going to over deliver.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what Levi and Kyle say all the time is that the goal for this company is longevity. It's all about how long we can stay in business. How we want to be here for 40, 50, 60, 100 years if we could. But it's building that brand and getting across the country, and that's what we're helping to do. So
love it.
Yep. What else you got, Dakota?
Yeah, another cool thing that I do is I'm my office guy. He always drops our 5 stars every time he gets one in our Voxer.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I'll send
yeah,
it if they directly say something about the installers and whatnot. I'll send that in our installer group just to kind of hype the
yeah,
installers up because they like to see
yeah.
that recognition too when they'll talk to
Yeah,
the
well, it
group.
always feels good, and that's one thing that that my guy Anthony always does is when he goes over there, he just makes it about the installers, and they love that just because they're more behind the scenes where they don't get the recognition. So that's their opportunity to get that recognition. So, like you said, that's one thing that really sets Performance Windows apart is our actual install. So definitely why we're doing the numbers that we're doing for sure.
Yeah. I think I mentioned this already, but like my passion is impacting lives and helping people just better their lives. And there are a million different products you can do with that. And I guess this is just like I took this opportunity as the next step in that journey for me of like how can I serve people. And when I found out that, oh my God, you never have to buy Windows again, half price on everything, like all the things that we offer. And I at first didn't think that would make a big change in someone's life, but as I've been here for a couple of years, I'm realizing a lot that like, hey, it's just like anything else that people have to buy, and we're literally servicing a major aspect of the home improvement industry,
Yeah.
and alleviating a lot of the pain and BS that people have to go through to just get their windows replaced. And as simple as that sounds, it's like we get to save them a ton of money and we get to make a bunch of money. And just peace of mind all around. So
and to tag on that, whenever I hear people say that, I like the change in lives things. It always comes back to one of my favorite sayings of like, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to change the lives of millions of people. With what we do at Performance Windows, you do that on both sides. As you bring people into the company, you see Armani. You've already had a great impact on his life already.
Yeah.
His eyes are opened up. He's following the same trail. You've changed his life. Even though he hadn't even has he gotten a sale yet?
No.
He hasn't
No,
even
but he told me yesterday, though, he's like, man, you brought me up here, you did this, you did that. He's like, man, brought me in front of all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's rewarding in itself.
For sure.
And on the other side of the whole industry is that's what you're doing on the doors. When you go out there and you talk to a homeowner, of course you're going to come across helpless people that don't want anything to do with us, but the people that do give us the time of day, they're so happy that they did. Even I sold one on Monday or Tuesday of this week where a lady told us, she was like, I never do door-to-door. But there was something about this girl that stopped by that I just felt like hearing her out, and I'm so glad I did. Thank you for coming by and choosing us. And because of that, it makes me feel good, makes her feel good, it makes the whole world go round. So that's our impact for sure.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about some of your predictions of what do you think is going to be like in the upcoming year? What do you think is going to be like when? So you're definitely going to get your promotion. We only need one more recruit, and you got to finish out this month. You're already at 4 sales.
Yep.
So we're anticipating closer by the end of this month,
Yep.
just with the one more recruit. But tell us like your timeline. How long you think it'll be before you become market owner? What's some of the future of the company look like for you?
Well, my goal coming in here was to make $50K a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going. That's going to happen in the next few months.
Step one, yep.
Yeah, step one to make that $50K a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just add people to the team. My whole goal coming here, aside from the $50K a month, was to see my sister succeed in
Yep.
building a business. I know this is her first business, her first venture of running a market and all that, and I know that it takes more than one person to build that, and I have experience and knowledge that I feel like could help her a lot. And
It
so
definitely will, yeah.
the goal is really not to build me, but to build the the organization that she's building.
And I think that's one thing is because even our system of recruiting too, we always bring somebody into the house, and the reason I feel like we do so well is because we want to do everything to see them succeed.
Yeah.
If you do it for yourself, it's easy to fail for yourself, and you still go wake up, you still go through your day, still go through the motions, and with failure for yourself. But when you start failing others, that's whenever it hits you in a different spot. That's when you're like, okay, I really got to do this I got to prove to this person. So I agree with you. Coming in and helping Lizzie, that's good. That's one of the reasons that first month right now, I guarantee you that South Denver office is going to break the record for the highest revenue for a first month's open.
Yeah, we talk about it every day. So,
Oh, well.
Yeah, so that's the goal for sure. Then, ASAP, get my own little office and start running it up, and then kind of go from there.
Yep, we'll keep on grinding. It's going to come. That is no doubt. Yep. And
Yeah, I was gonna ask you as far as like your recruiting and stuff like that. I know it sounds like you already got one. What all these insurance guys, all these solar guys, have they kind of been? You've been staying in contact with them. What are kind of their
Yeah,
perception on it?
absolutely. So it's really just organic conversations, with people that I stay in touch with, and I have a handful of people that are already kind of, wanting to come out and do this. People that want to, stay in their lanes doing other things. But I just think as I get more success, as I start, having screenshots to send people of, my weekly pay,
Yeah,
it's kind of a take it or leave it thing. I think that's what I like about it is like it just sells itself. Like, hey, doing this, it's very simple. There's not a lot of mechanics to it. It's not like super complicated, and there's a paved path to success. And some people buy in, some people not.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like I have a pretty consistent flow of recruits coming in just from having organic conversations. Not
Yeah,
even.
well, I'll tell you that's definitely something. Did y'all free?
no.
That's definitely something that myself and Cotton that's our strong suit is recruiting, and to get you where you want to go, that's the number one key. Is like Cotton said, to become a millionaire, we got to change millions of lives, and one of the biggest things is recruiting because just like you said with Lizzie, you know, from being in other industries and building up a team that you can't do it by yourself. You know, it always goes back to a team is only as strong as its number two. And one thing that Kyle Deaver asked me, this is last year sometime. I don't remember exactly how it was, but whenever I was in Denver, that was one thing. He was like, "How are you so okay with being number two?" And it's exactly what you say, is that you have to be in love with the vision of what you're trying to build and the lives that you're trying to change. Because if you focus on yourself, like Cotton said, it's easy for you to fail yourself rather than the people that are trusting into you.
Yeah, and I think when the whole idea of what you're going after revolves around the ego, then there's a whole bunch of other problems that kind of make their way into it too, like selfishness and things around that. Not just
Yeah,
like, oh, this is me, but it's like all the other things that come along with the idea that it's just a one-sided thing between me and me. And when you include other people, now you have a lot of other, I guess, like sub commitments or I don't know other attachments that you can fulfill through that, like helping them succeed in their fitness life. Like Garrett freaking comes up and he never ends a meeting without asking us, did we work out today, or hey, like, are you eating right, what time did you wake up today, and stuff like that. So it's not just like, hey, are we hitting the revenue for the month, or are we recruiting, like the metrics, but it's also like the quality metrics in your life, like are we hitting those too?
right. What would you say? Go back to day one with performance windows. What was your experience like?
Well, I'm glad that I busted my ass on the way here to learn the script, because when I got up there, I was in front of like 15, 20 people, and I was getting grilled, even off of almost knowing the full script. Um, I I was really impressed by the accountability, by the fact that It's not like, oh, you have the script mostly down. Go out there, kind of like, get your teeth kicked in, and we'll just like whatever results you get, you're fine. Like that doesn't fly here. It's like, hey, you're gonna get up there, and you're gonna eat shit in front of the entire room, and everyone's gonna pick you apart. The front row and the back row and the one before that, all at the same time. You got people standing on top of each other to tell you what you did wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like it's degrading a little bit because you're like, one, you're nervous. Two, you're like, man, I thought I had that. But it makes you better because you have all of these different perspectives, literally honing in on you, and just separating like, hey, this isn't me personally. This is about me professionally, and just taking ultimate accountability. My recruit Amari told me yesterday. He's like, dude, I've never seen this much accountability on the schedule, in the job and outside of the job. If we're late, the whole checks and X's systems. I was laughing at that at first. Like, really, dude, are we in school again? But if you're late, if you're not hitting metrics, this or that, like there's consequences for that. And I feel like humans in general thrive a lot around structure, and I think that there's an amazing amount of structure in place here to take anybody, whether they've been in sales before or just a different, waiting tables at Chili's, right?
Drug addicts, we've had them all.
Yeah, yep, anybody, and just put them in a system and say, if you work your ass off, and then if you commit to following the system, doing it this way and not your way, and obviously, sprinkling a little bit of your swag into it. Like, everyone has their own personal, part to it. But yeah, man, if you just like hone in and follow the system, then you're going to produce the results. There's a formula: 1+1 = 2, and that's what. Also, just like me saying the fulfillment of the installers, I can sell that to a customer. It's the same with this. The fulfillment of the formula that you guys have of, hey, follow these metrics, do this, do that, show up at this time, do these X amount of things, and you will make X amount of money. And when you can have a clear formula, A to Z, and you can put it in a book, a little manual, like you guys hand out to everybody, and then you drill that every single day, 6 days a week, then you'll be making 10, 20, 30 grand a month, guaranteed.
Yep.
And then I can sell that to a recruit, just like I could sell the windows to a customer.
Yep.
Without in the back of my mind saying, well, there are people here that they followed everything, they did everything, and they're not having any success. That doesn't exist here.
Nope.
That's something to me was like, okay, that's something I can rock with.
Yep. That's powerful, man, and you're exactly right. Um, if you come in and you do the formula, the exact Cotton said it, and this I got it from him, is that Levi and Kyle have paved this blacktop road, and we can either go down this blacktop road or we can get over here in the ditch over here and try to make it our own way. We might get there, but it's going to take us 10 times longer, right? You're going to have more highs and more lows. And if you just do exactly the formula that they do, then you can go on that blacktop road and we can get there sooner than later.
Sprint.
Not reinventing the wheel. I love
Yeah,
it.
I literally put that in our chat yesterday because somebody was going out there and they get that was the reason they put that in the main performance windows chat was Denver office of like, oh, we're not selling anything, we're actually completely different, and like, but again, that's a lie. Like, don't come out and say that, and we don't train that. We tell people, look, if they come out like being an asshole or whatever the case may be, you put a big smile on your face, say, oh, I'm so sorry, and have a good evening, and just leave. Like, if they're mean, strip them of the opportunity. Don't try and overcome and push and lie to them, because then you're just making it worse. We got 2 1-star reviews yesterday, but they both got removed by last night, so we're good to go. So
Beautiful.
Let's go.
but don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah, the wheel's made. Just use the same wheel we have and let it rock. So, but you ready to kind of wrap up a little bit?
Yeah, you got anything else, or you got?
No, I think that was a great podcast so far. Yeah, we've had a lot of good information, and yeah. Any message to the viewers today? Your first podcast. Tell us about what you thought.
It is my first podcast.
Uh-huh.
This is my internet debut.
This is the internet debut. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
post
I love
that
it.
face.
No, yeah. I mean, if you're out there and you're considering door to door, if you're considering sales, and you're looking for something that is because sales is definitely a risk, and I think the whole shtick around sales is like, man, like it's sink or swim kind of mentality, and that is true. But if you have a community that supports you, and you have a system around that community that everyone's singing the same song, and there's documented proof that everybody that goes through it comes on the other side successful, then in the end there is no risk. The only risk is you showing up for yourself every day. And if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to make a change, and you want to make that money, that real money, right? Then just take a chance. Hit us up. Hit up Dakota, Garrett, me maybe. I'm not dropping.
Yeah, hit
I'm
up
not,
Josh. Josh,
yeah,
drop your Instagram name in there. Tell everybody
yeah.
what your Instagram.
Josh Mascaro, hit me up.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep. Follow Josh Mascaro. He's got a lot of history in a lot of different sales industries. So, bro, you're a book of knowledge. You just got to keep persistent through failure. You just got to keep pushing every day. The hard days is what always pays you. So that's kind of my motto. If it's a hard day, you better push 10 times harder to break that wall down because what did Keone Duke say? It was like a pendulum.
Yep.
Yes.
Success is a
Success.
pendulum. However hard you fail and however hard you swing towards failure, that's going to reap the reward on that when it swings through. It's going to be just as high, if not higher.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. We were talking right before the podcast. Like, I was not having a good week coming off of 4th of July. Just like mentally came back and was doing everything right, I guess, but just was kind of in my head and started thinking, man, like, I've been doing this for years. Is something wrong with me? And I started having that negative talk. And then I woke up the next day, had a great morning, did my meditation, worked out, everything, came to work. Like, I'm going to dominate today.
Yep.
No, this shit ends now.
That's it. And you make
And I
that
made
decision.
$6,000 in like a 24-hour period.
Literally. Yeah, I could tell even the day that I came down there to South Denver on Wednesday, you weren't on track.
Yeah.
I could look at you and you'd come in, you're in a different shirt, look like you just got out of the shower. You weren't ready for the day. It's almost like the day was taking you over. And then from that, you just locked in and you got back on track. Because all you're doing, you just fell off your path of self accountability just a hair. But when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, the results won't follow. You got back on track and you changed that results in 48 hours.
Sweet.
Well, yeah, one thing to add on that, this is one thing that I always say is, as we all, sales is a professional sport of what we're doing, and I consider door-to-door sales the real professional sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a baseball player and sales slumps are inevitable. You're gonna have them, right? It's hard, but the thing with a Major League Baseball player, he's still batting 300, but he's in the Hall of Fame, right? And the thing that makes a good salesman become into a great salesman is being able to recognize whenever he is not doing what he's supposed to do, where he's not getting those results. So as long as you nip that in the bud, bro, keep doing that, and you'll be 4 more sales, and you'll be qualified.
Yes, sir.
Life changes.
Life, yep. Knocker money, good money, closer money, life changing, market owner, generational wealth, bro. So y'all hit us up, hit Josh up, follow him. Ask us the questions. He'd love to help you out any way that we can. Cotton, any last words?
Nope. I appreciate you coming on, Josh.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. I enjoyed it. Heck, I'll be able to meet you in probably about 2 months. So
Do it.
come down there. But, man, y'all keep crushing it. Cotton, appreciate everything you do as well. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank y'all.